Hello, one. Hello, all. Welcome to episode 12 of WILI Interviews. I'm joined by very close personal friends of the channel. Friends. My first time, I think I'm interviewing three people at once. Are you guys the original three members of the Dorkening?
Yeah, close.
We're the original three as far as the interview thing goes.
Yeah.
The original people of the Dorkening are me and Leo.
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't we start with that, Kevin?
Okay.
So,
How did it all come to be?
well, why don't you guys introduce yourself first, and then
I'm Kevin. Yes, I'm Kevin from the Dorkening and Wicked Horror Show.
Leo.
That's all.
Yeah, I'm. I don't know if I'm the brains behind this, but yeah, I'm Leo. I hit the buttons as you see. Like I'm going to hit a button right now and go back to CP.
So I just want to point out you are the brains of the whole thing because you're the smartest person on the show.
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
That doesn't say a lot though.
No,
because we're all goddamn idiots.
And Wolf.
Yeah. I'm as they like to put, I'm the living encyclopedia / dictionary / whatever. I'm the trivial head.
He's not a thesaurus though. It's a dictionary,
Not a thesaurus.
encyclopedia, not a thesaurus.
So you alluded to it, Kev. How did you guys get started? Maybe this should be directed at Leo. Maybe Leo, is this your brainchild? Was it a collaboration?
it's more of a mutual. So I went through a rough patch in 2012, and I was looking to. I really enjoyed a show called Twit, This Week in Tech. And I always wanted to do something similar. I was doing, some on and off podcasting for my work and doing a lot of video editing for my work. And I wanted to try to figure out how to make an actual show like This Week in Tech. And I started doing all sorts of research and trying to figure out the best way to do like a camera switching situation. And then I reunited with Kevin, and it all went from there. I mean, it was like
Downhill straight from there. No, so Leo and I are cousins. I don't know if you knew this. But we're not like first cousins, but we're cousins. So I met Leo when I was in high school, and he was the guy with all of the video game systems at the time. The only person I still have ever known that owns a Neo Geo or owned a Neo Geo system.
Wow.
Yeah, it was, so I was in high school. I'm like, holy crap, this is amazing. I can play all these video games. And then we just didn't keep connection, like this was before internet was really a major thing. Excuse me. So we finally reconnected. My dad, I actually friended Leo on Facebook. He's like, oh, remember Leo? I just friended him on Facebook. And so I connected with him as well. And I actually was asked to do a show previously with my friend Mark, who actually does a show called Secret Underground Hideout. But I was asked to do a show with him way back in the day. We were part of a paranormal group, and we were at a convention, and so people thought we were funny. And these people have a radio network called DTM Wicked Radio. And so they actually approached us and said, hey, would you guys be interested in doing a show? And I was like, well, Mark doesn't have time to do it. But, my cousin Leo was interested in doing something, so it wouldn't be paranormal related, but maybe we'll do something. And that's kind of how we started really kind of thinking about it. And then from there, we started doing YouTube, and literally the shows were like 3 hours long. And I would have to edit them down to an hour, and it was horrible. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of how it started. And then we just met some awesome people throughout we've had a lot of people come and go. They're always welcome, but a lot of people that were a part of the show for a long time, then they just wanted to go do their own thing or whatever. But that's how we came across, Wolfie and a bunch of other guys that are involved in the show was just from interacting through YouTube
and
Facebook.
I think that's one thing that's always been a essence of us is as people come and go, we love helping people and trying to get people to grow, and it's just that's I think that's been an essence of us for a while, is just helping out each other, collaborating, trying to get people to spread their wings and do their own thing, and a lot of people have.
Yeah, the one thing too, like even though even though I can say crass things to people and be whatever, it's all in just, but at the end of the day, we don't want a negative environment kind of deal. So like, even with the guests that we have on, we've had situations where there's been people in the chat room that are just bashing the guests. We just ban them, because it's like, there's no that's not why we're here, We're generally there to promote what someone's doing because we're fans, you know. So,
Am I incorrect in my assumption that you guys started? Well, when I started following you guys, were more of a introvert. No, not introvert, but more community based, having fellow YouTubers on your show. And since then, the more I've been in touch with you guys and or on the show with you guys, it's more focused towards promoting filmmakers, independent filmmakers, the like. Is that a fair assumption?
Well, the Tuesday show, that's the Tuesday show has turned into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was kind of almost like somewhat of Wolfie's brainchild there, you know, because Wolfie was available on Tuesday nights, so we decided to do, you know, a live show, and I think Wolfie, did you set up the first guest?
Yeah.
So the thing is that they were already doing a show live on Monday nights, and I said, they're like, we'd love to have you on. I'm like, well, I can't do Monday, sorry, you know. Leo and Kevin and I talked about it, and it's like, well, we could move the show to Tuesdays. That's okay. And Kevin wasn't always on when I first started coming on, because he had a crazy job that kept him busy, you know. So, as you said, yeah, the first guest we ever had on, I set up through James Balsamo, and that was Genevieve Rossi. And she actually approached me. She goes, I had met her through James on Facebook, and she goes, so what do you do? And I go, well, I've reviewed all of James's movies at the time. And she goes, you do any interviews? And I go, well, I'm not set up for that. You know, at the time I'd been on a computer for a while, but I was still really green when it came to like the software and what you can get and what you can do. And so I approached Leo and I said, Leo, I go, what kind of software do I need to do a review show or to do an interview show? And he goes, what do you mean? I explained the whole thing to him. He goes, well, you know, I have this software. I could record it for you. And that was it. That was the beginning of the whole interview thing. Right. And
that's like where we started separating away from like what he like the whole. Most of the people that were on the show were YouTube people.
Mm-hmm.
We had a few people here and there. Yeah, but it from that point we kind of started separating things, and mostly the YouTube thing is that's who we were involved with, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's go ahead.
I was gonna say at the beginning, I mean, we still had like when we had Jeff Klein and Marissa Mir on, we also had Bloodbath. We also had Jay Bond on.
Yeah, and two people that were recently together, Wasting Money 1 and Wet Movie 1.
Mm-hmm.
We had them early on as well.
Wasn't Wasting Money though more of a Sunday show? I don't remember him being on a Tuesday show.
He was more of a Sunday show, and he actually helped us out a bunch too, because at one point, this is like the plights of YouTube.
I remember this situation. Yes.
Yeah, but we actually lost our channel for a little bit, and you know, people like Wasting Money 1 offered us, like, you know, their channel to host us, and for, you know, until everything, you know, and that's awesome, you know, but even still, the people that are on the show now, like the regulars that are on the show, with the exception of Yo-Yo, because he has his own thing, but he's not as active as other people. But we found Tony through the YouTube show, we found Wolfie through the YouTube show. Pretty much everyone that we've had on, we found like through YouTube, with exception of Yo-Yo and Vlad and some of the other people that we've run into at conventions, because we go to a ton of conventions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I started following them when they were doing the 3-hour shows on like Sunday nights, and I'd watch their stuff, and I did to them the same thing I did to you and Lee. Mm-hmm. You know, I would just constantly, you know, make comments, and Kevin Leo said, you know, you should come on sometime. I'm like, okay, if I ever get a chance. And after one of the shows, I wound up talking to Kevin at one of the other guests, and we were all like huge horror fans. So it was like an instant bond right there, you know.
Cause that's one thing too, is that Leo was never really, I mean, not never, but he wasn't as big of a horror guy as other people that were involved, and that's kind of how a Tuesday show kind of progressed, you know, with doing a live show. Horror fans are easy. I mean, horror guests are easier to come by, I think, because there's a lot of them out there, and there's a lot of independent stuff out there. So that's kind of how it started, and we've progressively gotten better and better guests. I think we've had some
definitely
pretty amazing, from a horror community standpoint. We've had some pretty great guests in my eyes, anyways.
Is it flattering to you guys that you guys have people reaching out to you now, like filmmakers? Granted, that independent, what have you, but
it's actually a lot of the guests now. It's still us reaching out to them. It's a constant process of
we have had the few. We have had the few that have reached out to us, but I mean, Leo's right. It's still constantly us doing most of the work.
But at the same time too, it's us reaching out to them, but we can say, hey, this person that you're friends with was on the show. Ask them how it was. And like in general, people have a very good time on the show. Like the guests, like, oh, it was really cool. It was like just hanging out with friends kind of deal. And like, we've been able to kind of make somewhat friends with some of these people. So we go to conventions, and certain people that would maybe guest at the convention will be like, hey, what's going on? I watched the interview again and whatever. Like we just had Kane Hodder on. And we were lucky enough to go to the set of Death House and interview a bunch of people on set of Death House like for a day, and Kane was one of them. And he told me, like, the next time I saw him at a convention, he told me that he watches that interview regularly, and he thought it was great. And he's like, I've done a lot of those, and a lot of them are shit. He's like, yours was good. And I was like, oh, he's probably just saying that. Mm-hmm. And then I talked to Jason McFiggins, who is the media guy for Death House, and he's like, Kane does not blow smoke. If he said it, he meant it. So I was like, that's ridiculous, And then, it's just so weird, and it's awesome at the same time. But I know, I don't know. It's just, it's kind of, we've been doing it for a while, but the progression is kind of like, at times I'm like, I can't believe we're talking to these people. This is crazy. Yeah,
we hit our 3-year mark, September 30th of this year. That was the 3-year mark of doing this show. And in the 3 years we've been doing it, it's been a blast. I can't say enough. I mean, we've had some clunkers for interviews, and I know Kevin. Yeah. See, he knows exactly which one I'm talking about, because I told CP about her, earlier.
We've had our ups and downs, Like it's we've also had a lot of changes over the years, like I said, with people that are involved in the show, even with the technology and us stepping up our game. And Leo is really taking on a lot as far as the technical side of things. And, we give him shit all the time. Just, it's only because it's very easy to do and very fun.
That's not the only reason.
Well, yeah. Plus, it makes me feel really good when I do it.
I was gonna say, and as Kevin said earlier, it's all in good fun. I mean, when it comes to it, I honestly, Kevin said to me one time, he goes, "If I didn't like you, I probably wouldn't make fun of you."
Right. if I'm like ragging on you, it's because I like you.
Mm-hmm.
If I didn't want to give you the time of day, exactly.
So to focus on some of the not so fun aspects of it, how is it for you guys when you have to promote something that perhaps you weren't tremendously a fan of, or you have somebody on that's not really carrying the show very well? Have you had moments like that? What are the experiences like? I mean, because
one thing is this echoes back to what Kevin said, is making a safe place for everybody, because there have been movies that haven't been, not all of us liked, or there were a lot of problems. But the thing is, we're inviting somebody on to talk about their movie or their short or whatnot, and we want them to feel safe. We're not going to bash anybody. We're not going to lie. But we may not say that we liked it or disliked it, but the guest is here for their experience, what they've gone through, because like Kevin says every time, we've their movie or their short is better than anything we've done, because
we've never made a movie.
Exactly.
Right.
They've already done more than I can, so I can't bash them for the effort, And one thing, like Leo said, we'll never, I'm not going to sit there and say that I loved a movie if I didn't love it. I'm not going to say that I liked it if I didn't like it. what I like. So there's some episodes you'll notice that I don't say I like it or don't say I hate it. But maybe I'll ask, like, is there anything you would have done differently if your budget was bigger or whatever? And like I'll almost kind of try to hint towards something I didn't like about the movie, or I'll say like, there'll be a movie where I like we'll comment on something that I wish that this was a little bit better or this was this or whatever. But I'm not attacking them and being like, you fucked that up.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, like we just had a director on from Murder in the Woods, and I told him straight up from the beginning. I figured out the roundabout. I figured out who was doing what or what was doing what, and but it didn't take away from my experience of watching the movie. I actually enjoyed the movie. I'd watch it again.
It wasn't murder in the woods, was it?
Yeah,
it's murder in the woods. I have a feeling someone's going to die in these. Is this the accidental death in the wilderness, or is this murder in the woods?
They were in the desert the whole time.
Suicide in the lake.
but no, it didn't take anything away from the experience of the movie. I mean, I still enjoyed the movie. It's just much like Kevin, myself. I mean, I have like 45 years of watching horror. Dude, I mean, it's hard to not get one by me, but I mean, when you have a cast of like so many and you got the cliched characters, you can kind of look back and go, okay, the stoner doesn't get killed. The boyfriend, the stoner's not the killer. The boyfriend's not the killer. You can eliminate all females because, they're a little bit weaker, and they're not going to be able to manhandle like some of the bigger men. And
but getting to the point of the whole thing is you were able to tell the director that on the show, but the way that you do it is not in a way where he's feeling attacked or whatever. And that's the thing too, is like sometimes like it may be a little tougher. Like there may be someone who's like a first time filmmaker, or they're haven't even made their first film.
This was his first film. Yeah,
I know, but he's done other things besides that.
No, but I mean, it was his first feature, though.
Right. But I mean, there may be even someone like we've had people on that are like literally they've never done anything before, and they're doing like a short film or a film, whatever, and then like they're going to be super defensive of any criticism,
right.
But at the same time, too, they gotta deal with that. We've actually, I'm not going to mention names, but we've actually had an experience with a director who is known for like pushing the buttons and like just really pushing the limit to people, and his movies are like very overdone and like just very like you'd almost think like this guy could take anything, and he dumped out on the show because he was afraid of comments.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a total joke.
Yeah, and it's just we decided okay, we're never going to work with this dude because on top of that, Leo, out of the genuine awesomeness that is Leo Pond, he offered to send a microphone to one of the people that was going to be coming on the show because he didn't have a microphone. So I'll just send you this microphone, and then when we're done, you can just send it back to me. Whatever. Haven't heard back from those people. He hasn't received the microphone or nothing, and they just were a no-show for the show. But again, I understand things happen, but that's not the way to do things. We're not here to take advantage of anybody. Like, no. It's awesome that we get to talk to these people, but at the same time, too, we're excited to talk to these people. So it's a pay off to us.
You're also doing them a service, though. Are there ever moments where it's just like maybe they're not into it, or they're not promoting themselves well, or they're not promoting their project well, where you guys are just kind of like pulling teeth? Like, do you even want to do this?
Honestly, the answer to this question, and Kevin knows because this is the thing we alluded to earlier, is we did have a guest on. And she was on to promote her film, and she didn't know where her websites were. She didn't know what her URLs were. She didn't really tell us much about. I mean, we got to see the movie ahead of time, but for the people that are watching, they didn't really give a very good synopsis. She was shot halfway in the dark and halfway in the light, and all she wanted to talk about was going to rock concerts, shooting her boyfriend in pictures, and a documentary that she was working on. Right. I mean, it is to me the worst.
Right. But that was also a while ago.
Yeah.
So in general, I really feel like we're getting the people that we're getting on are like a different like level right now.
Yeah.
They're still independent, low budget independent, but they're, and that being said, it's happened. It's happened. The one thing is too is over the years we've gotten better with each other, so we can almost, I think we have anyways, where we can actually kind of work with each other a little bit more. Some shows may be a little bit more difficult, but and that was one of the things too is we have a good core of guys right now with Wolfie, Tony, and Yo-Yo, but Tony and Yo-Yo couldn't be on today because of other things, but they, we've been working with these guys for a while, and I really think that we have a really good rapport. Because before we had a lot of different people that we were working with, and some guys were kind of cycling in and out. And it was when we would have so many people on, it's almost like, hey, we're all like grabbing at the bit to say something.
Super excited. Everyone wants to say something at once, and it just got everyone talking over everybody. And I know for Kevin, I know for myself, it gets to the. We still do kind of, but I mean, it got to the point where it just after the show, you just go, God, that show could have been 100% better if there was like 20% of the people gone. I mean.
Well, and that's the thing is it got down to the point where like, okay, I love having this guy on, but maybe they shouldn't be on for every show because in this particular show they didn't even say a word. Like so let's save the bandwidth and whatever. But and it's again nothing against those people, but I mean a lot of people have come and gone. We've had a lot of guys that were very involved and people that we didn't see on the show for like probably like a year, and then we would have a convention that we're going to be at, and they're like, hey, I'm free if you want me to come hang out. So
yeah.
Well,
we would.
Let me back up for a second. I'd like to hear your opinion, Leo, on this. Like, if there's a bit of a headache, a nightmare situation, interviewee, how does it feel for you going through all this when you're literally at the command center and you're putting in all this work and it's not being reciprocated. I'm not saying that an interviewee needs to be putting in so much work, but when it seems like they're not paying the proper respect to the process, when you're doing all this out of your own back pocket, so to speak.
One of the things that like Kevin alluded to is our caliber of guests have greatly increased. So we haven't had that issue in a very long time. Back in the day, say a year ago, 2 years ago, there were some episodes where I'm looking at the clock and saying, oh my God, how on earth are we going to get through this show?
Yeah.
And it's painful. Some of those episodes I played a trailer too many times. And sometimes there's not a trailer, and sometimes they didn't bother getting us a screener before the movie, so we have no idea what we're talking about. But since then, we with each guest, we make sure that we know the material. We make sure we get a screener before we have them on. It's sort of like a priority, and a lot of people are really good about that, especially a lot of one company we're working with now that's actually helping us with a lot of guests. They provide us way too many screeners, and actually I'm trying to figure out a way of what can we do with all these additional screeners. Is there additional reviews we can do or whatnot? So, but back in the day, it was just very difficult. It was, the show must go on. We must continue it. It's a little rude to pull the plug early. I don't think we've really ever done that, with very minor exceptions. But yeah, it is painful because, it's half the time my attention is diverted because I'm trying to make sure everything's running right. Trying to pay attention to the comments. So I try to listen as best as I can, but sometimes I can't. And that's why Kevin and Wolfie do an awesome job, with keeping the ball rolling during like the Tuesday show. And I'm so thankful for that because it's half the time I don't even hear what's going on because, I'm going through 20 different comments trying to figure out, what needs to be asked next. And it's, yeah.
And in a perfect world, Leo and I would be able to be in the same room during the show, and we'd be able to split this duty. Split a duty. And
you said duty, huh?
the question is, how would it be split? like down the center or down the whatever.
Get a butter knife out.
but yeah, I mean, in a perfect world, we would all be in one location, be able to do this a little bit easier. But if it's feasible for anyone, it would be for me and him because we're close enough. We're like an hour away. But still, at the same time too, it's an hour away.
Yeah.
We both have jobs and wives and lives and houses. So there's that. But I mean, and that's all pertaining to the Tuesday show. The Sunday show is completely different. It's more of just like an open thing. But we have been doing some interviews on Sundays to try to make up for, like he was saying, like some of these other screeners that we're getting and stuff like that. Like just doing shorter shows and and then trying to do the open discussion on Sundays, which is fun. And I miss when we don't do those because there's things that happen during the week and movies that I've seen that I want to talk about. We can't talk about those on a Tuesday show because it's not pertaining to the show. I want to talk to Wolfie about something that I've seen and then ask his opinion on it or whatever, But I don't know. I mean,
to touch on.
Sorry, go ahead.
To touch on that, one of the things that we've changed is, Sunday, going back to that open discussion. So that's going to be mandatory now. Every Sunday, unless there's a holiday or something really big is going on, convention or whatnot, we're going to do our regular show, no real interviews. We may have a special guest, maybe YouTuber, maybe CP or whoever comes on. But we're going to do interviews after the fact, pre-recorded. To try.
I mean, it's kind of funny. It's like not to. I don't want to say this to make the Sunday show sound like it's not as big as the other ones, but the Sunday show is kind of. I don't even want to use that term.
You haven't used one yet.
That's where it all started, though. It started with a Sunday show.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, no matter what you say about the Sunday show, there wouldn't be a Tuesday show if there wasn't a Sunday show.
Exactly.
I mean, as far as us just sitting around, to me, Sundays are that's the one I get up in the morning for, and I kick back and I get to talk with all my brothers about the things that we've done over the week. So it's kind of a in my mind, and I'm not degrading the show. It's a throwaway show.
Well, it's not really a throwaway show.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I don't want to say that, because it's not.
It's a different show, and we've gone actually through a rebranding. We were calling all the shows the Dorkening, and then Tuesdays was like Terror Tuesday for a while, and now with the rebranding, Tuesday is the Wicked Horror Show, Thursday the Ultimate Video Game Show, Sunday is the Dorkening. And I'm going to be trying to put together a digital marketing type of show, and Yo-Yo wants to do a tech show. So all these will be just different shows, all of their own little babies.
It's fun to do, though. I mean,
so here's one thing. I know CP. I know you do stand up.
Yes.
And you've been doing stand up off and on for a while.
Yeah,
that's your creative outlet. So if you didn't have something like that, you would probably end up going crazy, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
that's how most creative people are, right?
Sure.
So the thing with me is that I need something to keep me busy, or I will murder myself. So like I was a musician for a very long time, and that's what I was focused on was that.
Mm-hmm.
That's over because I'm an old man. So this is what. Shut your mouth. Just because you're 75 years older than me doesn't mean I'm not an old man. You're just ancient. But so this is what keeps me alive. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so you led in with me being a comedian. So let me play tennis with you here for a second, because the one thing that I notice as a writer of comedy and somebody who's been around comedy quite a bit is, especially on the Sunday show, you're kind of the I don't know, the levity center. Yeah. If something isn't going a certain way, you know when to break it up at a moment of levity. And I'm saying this with the utmost of respect. It's done in an expertise way where you seem to recognize, okay, this needs to be pivoted. Let me insert a joke here. How long did it take you to figure out that? All right, I need to be free and because I would call you the comic relief of the group.
Well, thank you.
He's been doing it as long as I've been on.
Right.
Well,
honestly,
that's been my life, to be honest with you. Like it's my whole life that I know of. At work, it's like wherever I am, like the thing with me, and totally getting off subject of the Dorkening. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry, gents. I'm going to talk about this guy for a bit. No, but like the thing with me is like I know it's weird to say, but people assume I'm a certain kind of person when they see me in person. A lot of people they don't want to talk to me. A lot of people don't, like there's a lot of people, like even people at work, there's people that I've seen over like 2 years that I've never talked to, but now I'm in their department and they're like, yeah, I never would have assumed you were like this by just looking at you because they're like, you're terrifying. Like when I was, one of my last jobs, I was a loss prevention guy for a large retailer. And I've been told by prostitutes that I'm the scariest person they've ever seen in person. Like, it's like, oh, that's great. You suck dick for a living. And I'm the scariest guy you've seen. But I mean, so I think growing up, it was the same thing. People always thought I was pissed. People always thought that I was looking for a fight, but that's not me. That's not me at all. And so I would use humor to like get myself out of situations.
Well, recognizing timing is something that's not. I mean, that's something that takes a while. I mean, I could take you to a comedy club where somebody's been doing it for 10 months and they don't have the timing down. So like I said, there's times on Sundays where like it's almost like you have this second sense. All right, this is going a certain way. Let's joke out of it. So how long has that taken?
I really don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know.
All right.
I think he's just looking for an excuse. I think he's just looking for an excuse to pick on Leo. But
well, no, it's not that. I mean, it's legit. Just like as any conversation I'm having, I'm always thinking of another conversation in my head that would make it funnier. Like, you know what I mean? Like in life, like it's kind of like it's kind of stupid to mention, but like you watch like Family Guy and like there's that scene where like he goes to see the movie Philadelphia and he laughs at he's laughing because Tom Hanks is funny even though he's dying of AIDS. In my head, I'm thinking of ridiculous things that could be happening at any time, and when I see an opportunity to just throw it in there, I do. But I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. It's just it's not even that I'm not thinking about like, okay, now's the time to do it. Just when I see the opportunity, I just go for it. But it's not like, I don't know. It's just a natural thing. I think.
Perfect example is what, like 2 months ago, after a show, I got a phone call.
Oh yeah.
And it's a landline, so it sounds like it's from 1985, and I mute the mic and I pick up the phone, and I still have my earpiece in.
As soon as you pick up the phone, I was just like, Morty, meet me at the clock tower, or something like that. And that was it. But as soon as you pick up the phone, but it's legit. I didn't think about it. It just came out.
So, I couldn't stop laughing.
That's the thing too. Is there's times that I'm with friends and I'll make a joke, and I don't remember that I made it, and they'll tell me later on, like, "Oh, remember when you said that?" I'm like, I don't remember that at all. Like, I just don't remember it. So, I don't know. Maybe it's a curse. I'm trying to be funny.
No, it's a blessing. No,
it would be a blessing if I remembered it all.
Well, like I said, timing with comedy is something that needs to be perfected. Something that I'm currently reworking on myself. So it to recognize that, okay, here's a gap. I need to fill it, and get in and then get out. And you've changed the landscape. That's it's for as much as you're not giving yourself credit for it. It's as far as somebody watching it is concerned, it makes a difference, because in the end you're entertaining people. As much as you guys think Sundays is just you guys BSing, it is, but you're doing it for an audience. So do you all recognize that? Like, all right, so yeah, we're talking about blah blah blah, but somebody might actually want to watch this, and
yeah. I mean, yeah. To a certain extent. I mean, I had my own YouTube channel for a while, and I still technically do. I haven't put anything on it in a very long time, and it was going well. And I stopped doing it to focus more on this, because I prefer this. over what I was doing. Not to mention I was going broke because I was buying movies like nobody's business just so I could do unboxings and review them. So I'm just like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. So I stopped to focus more on this, but it is weird that people actually watch them and comment and whatever. But I mean, I stopped. I mean, it's not to say this to take away from people that leave comments and stuff, but I don't really pay attention to them. I know it's bad to say, but I do and I don't. You know what I mean? Like, because there's going to be people that are just negative. They just are. And so because of that, I just ignore it, kind of deal. Someone has something nice to say and I see it, I'll be like, ah, cool, thanks, whatever. But, I respect YouTubers out there. There's a lot of YouTubers out there that I may not necessarily comment on their stuff, but I'll give it a thumbs up because I know it'll share it on my Twitter and do whatever. But yeah, I mean, I still watch a ton of YouTube. I'll come home and, I'll watch YouTube more than I watch regular TV most days.
So you kind of talked about the negative aspects. You guys had a bit of I don't know if it's still ongoing, where somebody decided to hijack some of your videos. What is that experience like when you find out that somebody's taking your videos and putting them up for their own purpose? Like is it frustrating, flattering? Like I couldn't imagine.
It's not flattering.
No.
Yeah. How is that process?
Well, it hasn't happened. Last time it happened was over the summer. I think the changes with what YouTube has done recently is going to eliminate a lot of that. Because basically YouTube is they're demonetizing a lot of videos. So a lot of these spam robots, because that's all it is just some spammer downloading somebody's entire catalog, re-uploading it somewhere else, just so that they could try to make a couple pennies. And now new accounts, you need to have like so many views before you can even start making money. So it was frustrating, that somebody could just steal our content. What was even more frustrating was us being shut down for no particular reason. What is that, 3 times now? And it was, that in itself is why we started doing more on other mediums like Facebook, and like Periscope, and, just not putting all of our eggs in one basket. YouTube it had potential, but it's, now you have to be, sort of like touched by the finger of God in order to rise above everything. And the little channels really can't go forward. So
I mean, even big channels though, like there's a lot of like channels that I consider large channels, and they're like, we're just one of like a billion, like there's like, they have like, they'll get like, oh, you have 200 and something thousand views in like the first day. It's like, yeah, but that's still nothing compared to some other people. It's like, and they're making money, that's cool, but it's, I mean, at some point they had to make that decision that this is going to be my job kind of deal. And I know that that's not going to be the case for us on YouTube. I know it's not. And I'm okay with that. I would rather not have to sell my soul to YouTube sorry, YouTube. But I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of people that are making a living that are really struggling right now too, because things keep changing for them on YouTube. But I don't know. Whatever.
What is the best case scenario end game for all three of you as far as the Dorkening is concerned?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Free coffee. Sorry.
Free coffee.
Well, we are looking to change the business model a little bit. I'm filing for an LLC for us, and we're gonna try. I don't want to say too much, but we are gonna. I'll certainly tell you afterwards. But we are looking to do other things than make videos. I mean, we're still going to be doing the shows. This I can say we are starting our own network. That's going to be part of it. But we're going to try to do other things to, just try to broaden our appeal and try to provide other services.
When you say network, what do you mean by network?
we're actually starting a podcasting network.
Like an audio podcasting network. There may be other things involved in that, but we already have one show that's interested in joining that's outside of our group of shows, you know.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And you know, we're looking for other shows as well, and we're going to be overly not overly picky, I guess, but we're going to, you know, cherry pick like the show, like we you know, we want to
network, well, of course.
Yeah, exactly. We want to have certain standards as far as quality and stuff like that.
And the other thing is, I mean, we've seen other networks that basically have like 20 versions of the same show on their network, and
there's a lot of networks out there that work very well.
And we're just trying to
listen to a lot of them, yeah. But I don't know. I mean, we want to do our own thing, kind of deal. So, and I guess the end game, though. I mean, because you asked what the end game would be for us, it would be nice to make a living doing podcasting or doing whatever.
Yeah.
It'd be nice. I'm not going to hold my breath, but it would be nice to do that, or be, you know, because like right now we're to the point where we get press passes to go to events. We get invited out to movie sets like Death House. I would love to do more of that.
Yep.
I would really love to do more of that. I would love to, like we just went up to the Buffalo Dreams Fantastic Film Festival in New York, and you know, we were able to be up there for the opening weekend. Great time. You know, we were invited up there. The you know, the hotel and everything was taken care of, and that's less stress on us because we have to, you know, drive up there for 7 hours or whatever it is, and it's like, okay, we don't have to go up there and worry about how I'm going to pay for this kind of deal. Because that's the thing is, even if we get press passes to a convention, we still have to get ourselves there, still have to pay to stay there, still have to buy food, whatever, you know. But it's a great opportunity. We get to meet a lot of really cool people. But I'd like to be able to do more of that more comfortably, I guess. Because you know, sorry,
so
go ahead.
Kev, what movie is it that we've got tickets to, but we got to make it there out in LA?
It's Death House.
Is that Death House? Okay,
yeah.
No, I just
the premiere.
Yeah. Well, also
Okay.
Max invited us to it, but
yeah. So we have open invites to go to places, but that's the thing is we'd have to get ourselves there, and it's I can't expect them to be like, here's some tickets, go, you know. But it's like I can't expect that, but it's cool that the options are there, you know. And it's cool that we you know, because of the show, we get to meet people that we are fans of, you know. We went to Scarecon, New York, and Jay and I'm sorry, what's the other dude's name from Bloodbath?
Jay. Johnny.
Johnny. I don't know why I always forget his name. Jay and Johnny from Bloodbath and Beyond came down and hung out with us for a while, and it was awesome. You know, it's like, holy shit! Like they're a bigger channel, and like they're cool guys, very smart guys. They have a quality channel, and it's like they, you know, we're not the only reason they went there, but they said that was somewhat of the deciding factor whether or not to go. You know, which is awesome.
Because I remember talking to Jay, and I said, Jay, so are you guys going to go to whatever? Because you know, I know that they're not far away from it, being up in Canada. And he's like, I told him that you guys are going to be there. He's like, well, I guess we'll have to go down there then, or something like that. And I was like, it's you know, it's just kind of cool. It's when it comes down to doing this show, there are people I have talked to that I never thought in my life I'd get a chance to interview. And that's, I mean, yes, we get to interview a lot of independent people like Billy Pond and Chanel Ryan and all these others, but just to have the opportunity to also interview like Barbara Crampton and Suze Lanier and Dee Wallace, and it's just been it's been mind blowing, and I'm looking forward to doing it for a very long time.
And there's one story I've told a billion times, and I'm going to tell it again just because it's still mind blowing to me. But you know, the fact that people like Kane Hodder and people like Tony Todd and people like Felissa Rose like know who we are. Like when we walk into a room, they know us. Some of them know us by name, and it's like that's ridiculous, you know. Like so we, you know, the first time I interviewed Tony Todd, I was having a panic attack, like legit. I was like not in a good place, and because I still have nightmares about Candyman.
Oh yeah, sure.
I totally do. Like whenever I'm in a new situation, like if I'm going when I was going for a new job and stuff like that, I would have a nightmare about meeting people and them just shooting bees out of their mouth. Like that's my like my nightmare, and that's because of Candyman. And so I met Tony Todd. I was very not okay with the interview. Wolfie told me it was a great interview.
This is actually one of the best interviews he's ever done. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, go check it out.
I've yet to watch it, by the way. And then I've met him a couple times at other conventions, and then we're at a convention one time, and I mentioned that me and my wife like to go to plays, and he's like, "Oh, I do plays, well, whatever." I mentioned that we like to go every once in a while, and then he reached out. I think it was through Leo, and he's like, "We have tickets available, like for this play that he's in Connecticut." So
That's
I
awesome.
was able to go to this play in Connecticut, and then when the play was over, he was out like waiting for me in the lobby.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's
Like,
ridiculous.
come on!
No, but exactly. But I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, I don't get it. Like, why me? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And it's not. The only thing I got out of it was, actually, I was stupid and I had to pay too much for parking. But I had to drive myself there to pay for parking. I got a free ticket. But at the same time, too, it's like, you're Tony Todd. Like, why do you even remember that I like plays? And why? Like, I don't get it. It's just weird to me.
So in a
But
sense,
that's because of the show.
Yeah, so in a sense, you're kind of, to a degree, some of this is it has already happened for you. I mean, like Wolf, you were just talking about it. Kev, you kind of referenced it. Some things that you can't picture, that they're kind of already happening to a degree.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but it's the only, and it's weird to say, but the only thing that could make it more perfect
Doing it
in my
full
eyes
time.
is if we could do it full time and be able to not have to do the 9 to 5.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I can
Yeah.
totally relate as somebody who's
And if it was an opportunity, if there was a definite opportunity to do it, it would be scary as all get out. But I mean, if it was financially feasible, I would be all over it.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to wrap this up, I always ask my interviewees this question because my channel name is Will I Like It Reviews. If somebody asked who would like the Dorkening, how would you recommend yourselves to a prospective viewer?
If you're a fan of anything geeky, dorky, or nerdy alike, we're definitely the group for you because as I've said before, Kevin and myself and Tony, we're the horror freaks. I mean, Leo's a sci-fi tech guy. Yo-Yo's a tech guy who probably could talk you through any type of phone if you wanted to, and a lot of tech too. I'm not taking anything away from what Yo-Yo knows. Just I know he does a lot of reviews for phones. But yeah, if you're into the geek of den, or any kind of geekyology, then we're here for you, man. Seriously.
Well, it's also more than that because there's a lot of shows out there that try to replicate what we're doing. There's a lot of talking heads type of shows, a lot of geeky shows out there. But what sets us apart, I mean, we do have a very intelligent group of people, for the most part. And
Thanks. No.
well, no, I was going to say it myself because I know I'm brain dead half the time. But it's also, I think a lot of it boils down to respect. And I think that's how we end up getting the guests we do because we treat everybody with respect and we treat ourselves professionally. And I know there's a lot of guerrilla, especially at the cons, guerrilla filmmakers or guerrilla, interviewees trying to do stuff, under the radar, against, guidelines and stuff. And we try to, rise above that and try to do the best we can, and put on a good show for everybody.
One thing that...
Go ahead.
Well, sorry, Kev. I'd say this quick, but one thing that we do like to stress when it comes to our guests is our interviews aren't really interviews. They're more or less conversations. We try to make it very relaxed, and that's a little bit different than just showing up with like a bunch of hey, I got a bunch of questions for you, bang, bang, bang,
Yeah, and quite frankly, that's the wrong way to do it. Is I'm actually taking a course right now with interviewing, and that's one of the big things they said is, go into it with a couple questions, but don't rely on that, and it's just having a conversation and listening to that and hearing what you guys do during like the Tuesday show. We're already doing a lot of that stuff already. So,
Kev?
Well, one of the things I wanted to bring up when you said talking about like how would you recommend it to somebody? So I like the one thing that I feel like I am, and I know Leo is on certain things, and I know we've had other people on the shows that we're opinionated because we're passionate about what we love.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time too, we can accept other people's, criticism, I guess, like,
Yeah.
But that's the thing is if you're passionate about things that people consider nerdy or just like, whatever, like I think the way that we even came up with the Dorkening is that, my wife would call me dork all the time because I would dork out about something. She's like, oh, you're dorking out about this or whatever, blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, that's the thing is like, there's certain things I'm passionate about, like just dumb trivia, like stupid television and old movie stuff and video games and action figures and shit. So it's like, but I'm passionate about it and I know things about it. So people will say something like, nope, that's not right. It's this. She played Mona on Who's the Boss.
Catherine Helmo.
Yeah, she was on Soap, and but like it's like someone brought up Gremlins the other day, and they said they never saw Gremlins. They're like, I've never seen Gremlins. I'm like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, and for some reason, it came out of I don't know why this came out of my head, but I was like, have you ever seen the show Alice? And they're like, what? I'm like, the lady who said "Kiss My Grits," she's in it.
Holly Holiday, yeah.
That was the only thing I could think of was someone said they never saw Gremlins. And I'm like, okay, yeah. But it's like, I'm passionate about that dumb shit. And that's what we are. We're passionate about what we talk about. We're having a good time. And, we're just giving our opinion on things. We're probably wrong.
Okay.
That's the next shirt. That's the next shirt right there. We're giving our opinions on things, but we're probably wrong.
So to wrap it up, what do you guys have coming up in the new year? Where can people find you? I know it's not just here on YouTube, so I don't know. Do I focus on you, Leo? What?
Well, you can obviously just Google the Dorkening. You'll find a bunch of stuff about us. We're streaming live every Sunday at 10 a.m., Tuesday at 9 p.m., most Thursdays. At 9 p.m. This week we're actually doing Wednesday because Thursday is Star Wars. But yeah, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, and the big thing in 2018, trying to make bigger guests or get bigger guests, but starting our own network. That's going to be the big focus for that because with the network also comes sponsors. And just making that next step up. So,
do you have an outlet for people if they want to support you, or are you focusing heavily or strictly on sponsors, or do you have like a Patreon or any way that fans could contribute?
I need to set up a Patreon because right now everything's coming out of my own pocket. Matter of fact, I'm dreading taxes this year because I'm going to have to add up everything, and I know my wife is probably going to freak out because
he'll be single.
Yeah. The sponsors are the one main one we're talking to right now is just to cover just hosting. If we don't get them to cover that, I will be covering that, but
well, if they don't cover that, we'll figure something out.
We will.
Yeah.
Yes. We will. We as in a group.
Mm-hmm.
We'll figure it out. Yes.
It's like he's like we as in Kevin and Leo.
Oh.
Well, is there? That's not to say that there's not some sort of future in a you did say that you're thinking about it, or
yes.
So in the future,
it's a tiptoe thing, though. It's a we've seen it backfire on people, and where that scared us a bit.
Mm.
So yeah, we don't want to burn bridges.
You don't want to shoot ourselves in the foot,
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for being here and letting me use your platform to deliver this interview. I guess say goodbye separately. We'll start with Wolf.
Sure. I mean, if you want to follow me, you could find me on YouTube, the 13th Wolfman, Twitter at the 13th Wolfman, Tumblr, 13th Wolfman, the Prowler review Sunday on the Dorky, Tuesday and Wicked Horror. So we do the horror one with Kevin. Without that, we do the Wicked Horror reviews, and always at once a month with CP and Emily on American Werewolf and London over on WILI reviews.
Here, it's here as far as they're concerned. But
Here.
That reminds me, I need to talk to you about Tumblr.
I was going to say, that reminds me, I need to talk to you about Micro Machines.
Kevin's always telling me to breathe for some reason.
13th Wolfman. All right. So A Knuckle on Twitter, Instagram, A Knuckle 3 on Snapchat. Every Sunday at Dorkening, Tuesday Wicked Horror Show. I'm doing some stuff with Wolfie on the side, if you know what I mean. And that's about it. And just looking forward to the new year. Big things. Hopefully Leo doesn't go broke.
Yeah.
And or divorced.
Yeah.
Leo.
Yep. For me, if you just Google Leo Pond, again, you'll find a bunch of stuff. Including like my resume.
It's very salacious videos.
Just Google Leo Pond, and I'm just about everywhere: Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, that's about it.
Thanks again, guys. This is the Dorkening. Have a day.
Bye, everybody. Thanks.